Hey, welcome back. In this lesson I'm going to talk about Laravel filters. What are these and how can we use them? Let's start with an example. Right now I'm not logged into my web application. So if I try to access the homepage of the app, I get an error trying to get property of non-object. In other words, we try to get the book property for our user object on line 7. But as no user is currently authenticated, our user object is null. So, how can we avoid this situation? Let me introduce you to Laravel filters. This allows us to specify which users are able to access the restricted pages of our app, in this case the home page. So, in other words, we'll only allow our authenticated users to request the home page. If the request comes from a non-authenticated user, this will be redirected to the login page, for example. In order to achieve this, I'm going to add a new route to our routes file. We'll start by using the route class, but this time we'll not use the get function. Instead, we'll use the group function. Group function allow us to put together multiple routes that share the same criteria. In our case, the criteria is that the user has to be authenticated. Next, we'll declare an array. First element of the array will describe when we want to perform the criteria. In this case, will be before. And the second element will be our criteria, which will be out. So, to translate this line so far, we say, before proceeding to the next route, we require the user to be authenticated. And we'll end our line with a closure. Inside this, we'll put our route request for the home page. So, now, if the users try to access the home page, we'll allow him to do that only if he or she is authenticated. But what if the user is not authenticated? What happens then? In order to see what happens, we open up the filters.php file located in our app folder. This file contains all the application filters. And if we scroll down to the route filter function, which deals with the authentication, we can see on line 46 that the user is redirected to the login page of our app. So, if I refresh the browser page now, we are being redirected to the login page. And if I log in, we are redirected to the home page. If I access another page without logging out, let's say the login page again, and decide to get back to the home page, this will work because the login session is still available. But if I log out and then try to access the home page, I get redirected to the login page because the session was destroyed when I logged out. This is a nice way to restrict the access to specific pages of your app only to authenticated users. We can then add more routes to this group, and all the routes will be accessed only by the users that are authenticated. Otherwise, the user will be redirected to the login page. Thanks for watching and see you soon.